Your response when you see children wearing masks as they play should be no different from your response to seeing someone beat a kid in Walmart.
Oh, that wine is fucking disgusting. Tucker Carlson is extremely dangerous. There is no alternative to that statement. There is no disproving that statement because he's so dangerous that his own lawyers successfully used the argument that no reasonable person would ever take him at his word. That he can pretty much say whatever he wants, and because of his demeanor, his manner of speaking, no sane person would ever take him seriously. And if you've heard that on Reddit or Twitter before, you probably made the reasonable assumption that that's some internet urban legend. But I actually took a look at the court document that quote comes from. And when I say take a look at, I mean I stayed up at midnight last night and read the 19-page court decision that quote comes from. In other words, a YouTube content creator with 2,000 subscribers has done more research for this video than Tucker Carlson has done for his show in the past year. Or I just have too much time on my hands, whichever you prefer. But to quote a U.S. district judge, this general tenor of the show should then inform a viewer that he is not stating actual facts about the topics he discusses, and instead is engaging in exaggeration and non-literal commentary. Fox persuasively argues that given Mr. Carlson's reputation, any reasonable viewer arrives with an appropriate amount of skepticism about the statements he makes. Whether the court frames Mr. Carlson's statements as exaggeration, non-literal commentary, or simple bloviating for his audience, the conclusion remains the same. The statements are not actionable. That is the direct quote. A U.S. district judge really said, hey, take a look at this white boy. No, like really take a look. Come on, you can't tell already that he's full of shit? And usually I try to be nice, I try not to be mean with my commentary, but he straight up told his audience of millions to harass people who wear masks in public. So yeah, I'm gonna be mean this week.
This grotesque version of Halloween went on for more than a year, and it's still going on.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's almost like this pandemic has been going on for over a year. Weird, right?
Not even Tony Fauci.
I'm gonna get to the actual problematic stuff in a second, but I find it so funny that you just know Tucker Carlson will be the first person to dismiss the existence of microaggressions, and yet he is the absolute queen of just the pettiest, but also least clever microaggressions on the face of the earth. Like, wow, you call Dr. Anthony Fauci Tony Fauci. I haven't heard a white person be that clever since my parents said, oh, look who decided to emerge from their cave whenever I left my room growing up. Good one, Tucker.
Instead, masks are purely a sign of political obedience, like Kim Il-sung pins in Pyongyang.
Yes, Tucker. Wearing a mask is akin to North Korean propaganda. And you're going to notice that whenever he talks about the opposition to his beliefs, he's always going to find ways to dismiss them, either by comparing them to one of the worst dictatorships in the world, or straight up calling them crazy, which, don't worry, we'll get to. And what's so funny is this is coming from the same guy who would have an absolute meltdown if someone even alluded to the idea that, like, Trump and Hitler had the same skin tone. Which, I mean, to be fair, would be a very effective colorblindness test for a very specific kind of colorblindness. Either that, or a test on self-restraint if you put the two photos in front of a liberal or conservative and see if they can keep their mouths shut. Also, experiment. There will be spit, sorry. Wow, look at that. You can't really see it, but quite a bit of spit. Quite a bit of spit, right? That was gross. Now let's put on a mask. Now let's try again. Wow, there's no spit in the cup. It's all in the mask. So, if I can't spit, and COVID can be transmitted in bodily fluids... Come on, fucker. I know you can do this math. You know what? We're gonna take this a step further. Wow. Nothing in the cup but the water I didn't drink. I look like I just went down on a girl with a pissing kink, and the glass is still empty. Masks don't do anything. Really.
The only people who wear masks voluntarily outside are zealots and neurotic. How neurotic are they? Well, we know. A Pew survey from last March found that 64% of white Americans who classify themselves as liberal or very liberal have been diagnosed with an actual mental health condition.
The issues from a factual standpoint with this statement amazes me. Like, I tried to become familiar with this Pew survey he's so determined to talk about. And one of the people that's actually associated with this study tweeted out this shit when talking about their findings, and also in their Twitter bio calls themselves a wokeness studies scholar. So yeah, this sounds totally legit. Nothing shady about this at all. I'm not even personally offended. I really don't care what you say about Democrats and liberals. However, if you're going to say that the people who disagree with you are mentally ill and cite a study with enough vagueness to help paint a false narrative of superiority, I'm gonna call you out on your bullshit, and I'm gonna call you out for the sad, overcompensating man that you are. Also, the guy who apparently cares about the troops so much, and I can guarantee you he carries around a bottle of eye drops whenever it's time to, pretend to care again about the troops with PTSD. You're a zealot and fanatic. Nice one, fucker. Also, look at how intentionally vague the wording of the question is. So, in your 80 years of life, if you've ever been feeling anxious about anything, like, I don't know, maybe school. Not that Tucker's audience knows anything about that, but... And you went to a doctor for a little help, maybe for some medication or coping techniques, and he said you're dealing with anxiety, you would answer yes to that question. Then you're crazy, you fucking libtard. What's that? You were dealing with PTSD after being raped, and you were brave enough to seek treatment for that? Yeah. I bet you wear a fucking mask too, don't you? This fucking guy. People on the right don't seek help for mental health issues because of wannabe tough guys like you that create the ridiculous narrative that seeking help for anxiety, depression, ADHD, OCD, addiction. People like you who are so desperate to create the narrative that those people are broken. Now, Tucker, I found a study that suggests that 40% of all police officers are domestic abusers. And with your clear lack of standards, I can't imagine why, for the life of me, you wouldn't talk about that study. Oh. Right. Also, people like you made it liberal to support access to healthcare. Maybe people who have mental health issues and seek treatment for that realize that not granting that access to people who need it is cruel and inhumane. Oh wait, that's shit. That's me assuming that Tucker has a base understanding of compassion or empathy. I'm sorry, that's a bad point, my bad.
If you dare to go on foot from Union Station to the Capitol, for example, in Washington without wearing a mask, angry Biden voters...
Tucker, you of all people should know that angry Biden voters aren't mad about the mask. They're just angry that they had to vote for fucking Biden.
And you see them everywhere when you walk down the street in any major city. If you dare to go on foot from Union Station to the Capitol, for example, in Washington without wearing a mask, angry Biden voters will snort at you in judgment.
Yes, because you made the act of wearing or not wearing a mask a political statement. Except, wait... If you're in a major city, that means you're in close proximity to others, which means your decision to not wear a mask puts those around you at risk. Even if you're outside, you're still supposed to wear a mask in crowds. Even the most recent relaxed CDC guidelines still support that idea.
How could you? They're saying from behind the gauze.
Yeah, God forbid someone says, how could you engage in the same reckless behavior that led to my grandfather dying to a pandemic that we are on the verge of stomping out? Like, God, this guy is apparently anti-abortion and anti-death sentence because of the sanctity of human life, right? Yet right now, he has a life or death decision in the palm of his hands, times millions, because he reaches millions of people every day, and this is the kind of decision he's making. Pathetic.
How could you? That's the question we should be asking of them in return. The rest of us should be snorting at them first. They're the aggressors.
Can you see why this man is one of the most aggressive people in America? No, not that. We don't talk about that because it's in the past. Like 3 whole months in the past. No, they were all asking for it. Every time. Especially the children. It's that thing on his face. I'm triggered. Wait. We don't get triggered because we're real men! But that is trigger... I'm sorry. I confused the word trigger with Tucker Carlson's much more often used term of
It's our job to brush them back and restore the society we were born in.
Tucker, you were born 5 years after segregation ended. Most of your audience was probably still alive during that. What the fuck are you talking about?
So the next time you see someone in a mask on the sidewalk or on the bike path, do not hesitate. Ask politely but firmly, would you please take off your mask?
All right, there's a lot of problems here. Let's get to work. Tucker, I know you're desperate to paint the narrative that as a white, straight, rich, garbage man, you're among the most oppressed people on earth, but why the fuck would you confront someone who's minding their own business just for wearing a mask? In fact, now that I think about it, does this mean that we can confront people wearing MAGA hats? Because, according to you, it's okay to confront people who are making what you call a political statement. I'm assuming this goes both ways, right? No way you're so spineless that you would suggest that this only goes one way and it's harassment when it goes the other. Because, I mean, I have to admit, when I see a hat that's representative of a movement that attempted to overthrow the government this year, I mean, I gotta be honest, your hat
is making me uncomfortable. Science shows there is no reason for you to be wearing it. Your mask is making me uncomfortable.
So show the science. Here's my science of the CDC detailing when it is necessary to wear a mask. Where's your science? Like what, is it the 1 in 10 doctors that just said like, fuck Colgate? Let's hear it, buddy. Also, if I want to wear a mask... It's a free country! It's a free country! It's a free country! It's a free country, right?
We should do that, and we should keep doing it until wearing a mask outside is roughly as socially accepted as lighting a Marlboro in an elevator.
Lighting a cigar in an elevator makes it harder for everyone else to breathe. Wearing a mask prevents the spread of a respiratory infection that makes it harder to breathe. To quote my 2nd grade teacher when I said that her ass was as round as a pair of Monopoly dice, where the fuck did you get that simile from?
It's repulsive. Don't do it around other people. That's the message we should send because it's true.
Tucker, me wearing a mask is less repulsive than me walking around like this. So if you think about it, I'm kind of doing society a favor on 2 levels, you know?
As for forcing children to wear masks outside, that should be illegal. Your response when you see children wearing masks as they play should be no different from your response to seeing someone beat a kid in Walmart. Call the police immediately. Contact Child Protective Services. Keep calling until someone arrives.
I don't even have a joke there. Fuck you and fuck any other entitled, self-important asshole who would ever even conceivably do something like this. Do you know the fear that that would cause for a parent who's trying to fight a custody battle? Or parents who are trying to adopt a child and already receive routine visits from Child Protective Services? Or just a black parent who doesn't want to be harassed by the cops in front of their fucking child. Police and CPS are not your personal political enforcers. I know, Tucker, that you're used to always getting your way, so how about you do us a favor and not talk down to the middle class about how the world works or what counts as abuse. Okay, Silver Spoon? Though I shouldn't be surprised because January 6, 2021 just shows that Tucker Carlson has absolutely no concept of consequences in the real world for his reckless actions.
What you're looking at is abuse. It's child abuse, and you are morally obligated to attempt to prevent it.
This is how you know Tucker has never actually faced abuse. Like, think about this for a second. Imagine being beat by your parents, gaslit by your parents, having parents open credit cards under your name and bankrupting you before you even turn 18. Or hey, being told by your parents that you're going to go to hell if you want to kiss someone of your own gender. Or being body shamed by your parents daily until all you're left with is lifelong body dysmorphia. or having parents hide your antidepressants to punish you. Imagine being sexually abused by your parents. If you've ever experienced anything like that in your life, there is no chance that it doesn't make your blood boil to hear Tucker Carlson equate all of those traumatic events that follow you for the rest of your life to having your child wear a mask, which teaches them about empathy and consequences for their own actions.
Let's say your kid's school emailed you to announce that every day after lunch, your sixth grader was going to get punched in the face by a teacher. How would you respond to that? That's precisely how you should respond when they tell you that your kids have to wear masks on the soccer field.
Your child being assaulted by an adult in any way should be among the most vile images to you on the face of this earth. Just the thought of that should make your stomach turn. The fact that you're equating that to wearing a mask, even as ironic commentary or whatever bullshit your lawyers want to say, really makes me afraid, not because I think you're overblowing wearing a mask, but because I think you're also underselling physical abuse against a child. You know, it really makes you wonder what's going on in the Carlson household. I mean, if we're supposed to call CPS for any suspected abuse...
That's precisely how you should respond when they tell you that your kids have to wear masks on the soccer field. That is unacceptable, it is dangerous, and we should act like it, because it is.
Bro, my clearly not healthy ass had a job last summer where I was standing in the sun for 8 hours at a time while wearing a mask, and I have asthma. Wearing a mask isn't hard, you weak fuck. Like, I just love the concept of all the right-wingers trying to portray that, like, they're as tough as Superman or Captain America, but this is their kryptonite. That or just common decency.
It is dangerous, and we should act like it, because it is. But too few of us have responded like that.
Yeah, Tucker, I think that's because most of y'all are trying to keep it low-key to avoid being questioned about your activities on January 6, 2021. That is how much was wrong with 2 minutes of his show. His show is 60 minutes long. In one 2-minute segment, he called for having children separated from their parents under false claims of abuse. Although, wait a second, I mean, that shouldn't surprise me because we already know fucker's stance on having children separated from their parents, don't we? Bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It actually really helps me out a lot. I make comedic commentary videos of the informative and satirical variety every Friday, and if you're not convinced yet, you can check out some recommendations above. Alright, my camera battery's dying, so I really do have to go now.